Okay, good evening, everyone. So, 16th of November, and here we go again with a tracker update. But before we get there, I can tell you a bit about Sterner. Sterner's still on the slip, and they've got a laminating team headed up there tomorrow to finish off some of the issues there. The story goes like this: there was a bit of water ingress, and then that led to noticing some of the aspects of the rudder shaft where it comes through the hull, the bearings, and skeg bearings, bits and pieces. And they checked, and thought they detected a little bit of movement and water coming in through those spots. Not a big deal, but certainly enough to be of a concern to carrying on with another 7,000 miles or so to Auckland. And better to be safe than sorry. So they thought the prudent thing to do was come back and check it all out, which they've been doing in the last few days. And it's still going, still ongoing. But now they're at what I'd call the laminating and close up stage to get it all back together. And spoke to Jarrett tonight for quite some time, getting a feel for what's going on. And he's pretty happy. The crew are happy. They're hoping to be underway by Monday, maybe even a bit before, but they've still got a few things to do. So they'll be out of there on Monday, which is encouraging. And they're very positive about getting to Auckland and carrying on from there. So the race is on very much for them. They'll be out of the rankings for leg 2, but carrying on with a chance to have a crack at leg 3 and leg 4 and IRC handicapping and so on. So still very much in the hunt. And Explorer's situation, as we mentioned last night, we got a problem here. Hang on a sec. I just realised. Okay, problem solved. I've been working here and didn't realise I didn't plug the power in, so the battery was going to go down. But we're now plugged into power, so everything's fine. Anyway, Explorer will be out of the rankings for leg 2. They had that issue, which is going to require a new reefing gear, as well as possibly a new forestay. We'll have to have a good inspection of the masthead tang that holds the forestay to see if there's any issues there, and also the stem head fitting on the bow. We'll get the whole story of exactly what happened, but it looks like they had a major hit with a squall that went from very reasonable winds over 60 knots and flattened the boat and caused all sorts of issues that lost a sail and damaged a few things and so on. So we'll get that story tomorrow from Mark. They've got a bit of a race on at the moment because they need to be on the marina no later than about 9:30 in the morning because they've got to clear customs, immigration, and so on. And at about 11 o'clock in the morning, there's a couple of hundred sailors from the Clipper race all going through their immigration processes. So if he doesn't get in there, he goes back of the list, and that'll cost time. So Jeremy Bagshaw, GGR skipper, from South Africa, great mate. He's actually an ex-rigger. His company was a rigging company. So he's been coordinating a few things for us today, and he's got a new reefing system on standby, all the material and nitronic to do. We've got a rod forestay on the boat. Everything else is wire. It's diaform wire, but the forestay is rod. So he's got a reefing gear, he's got the new rod ready to go, and he's got a team there ready to start work as soon as the boat turns up. And if all goes well, and it's just a case of replacing the forestay and fitting a new reefing gear, then they should be underway within a day or so. So we'd hope to see them underway and leaving again by Sunday. So it's a couple of day pit stop. The issue of the lost sail will take the hit. We've already ordered a new sail from Rolly Tasker, but that won't be delivered until Auckland. So that'll be another 24-hour time penalty for a new sail. Anyway, so there'll be a new one. And in the meantime, when the new furling gear goes up, it's a Profurl reefing gear. They will fit, if I remember correctly, there's another Yankee there. It's like not as big as the Genoa, but it's a good sail for the Southern Ocean. That'll go on for this leg, and they won't just one sail down, but it's not such a big deal. So they'll get back in on speed or the Explorer speed with Captain Coconut as soon as we possibly can. And my gut feeling is that it's going to be 16, 17, 18, 19th of November before they take off. 7,000 miles, worst case scenario, 7 weeks. So a couple of weeks there, 4, 5, 6, 7, I'd be happy to see them into Auckland by about the 5th or 6th of January, which will give them a week before they have to get ready to go again. That's a realistic projection, but if they're lucky with the weather, especially in the Tasman Sea, which gets a bit, it can be a win or lose situation there. They might get in a bit earlier, or they could get in a bit later. And Sterner will be in a similar situation. But if Explorer gets away on Sunday morning and Sterner gets away on Monday morning, so Sunday morning and Monday morning, they'll be a little bit close and they can sail across together. So we'll see how it goes. And sailing, when you're not in the rankings, you've got the liberty to do a few things. You can motor if it goes calm, and but the crews do it in the spirit of the OGR, even though they don't have to. So I'm quite certain they'll be still using sextant and bits and pieces, but certainly they're able to get weather. If they're slowed up by the weather, then they can get some weather information. That's, they're really on a bit of a delivery to Auckland. So hopefully that might give them a bit of an angle to get there a bit quicker as well. So we'll just wait and see on that. Anything else I can tell you? No, we had a couple of sound clouds today. Neptune called in, and a couple others. So have a check out of the sound clouds anyway on that. There's some fun stuff, and they're all having a good time. So okay, so let's just go straight to the tracker now and see what we got here. So I'm on there and I come over here. So just a quick one on Explorer. We gave her directives, get there before 9:30. So she's motor sailing. I'm not sure what's happening there. They're doing quite good speed, but straight line, doing 7.5 knots. So I'd say this is a pretty light wind, but it's just 4 to the beam maybe. You can see if I picked it up there. They're about 65 miles from Cape Town. So they should be able to just get in there by sort of 8, 9 o'clock in the morning or something, and then get settled, get immigration and get started. So no big changes in the weather overnight, very benign. And here's Sterner over the other side, still sitting there, not due to get away until sort of Monday morning, we reckon. But and so let's just have a look at what the weather might be on Sunday and Monday. So there's the 16, 17, that's Friday, then Saturday, and then Sunday. Is that what we got here? Oh, that's not too bad. Explorer's got a northerly. I wonder how long, northwesterly. I wonder how long that's going to last. Oh, that's pretty good. So Sterner's got a bit of a light show there, but not a bad looking situation for Explorer. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, there's a bunch of breeze there. They're going to get a quick push. That's the 20th. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's just see what's down the bottom here. Quick peek. Okay, so there's a big low pressure system going to be right underneath them with a bit of breeze. That'll give them a good head start anyway. Yeah, some big stuff there. So, and looking at that with the current, they're going to have to be careful. Oh no, that's going the same way as the currents. So generally, oh no, there could be some wind against tide there. That's going to be very interesting. Anyway, Captain Coconut will be onto that. They'll plot all the bits and then see what happens. So it looks like they're going to get a jump start, which is good. Certainly the rest of the fleet, they're sailing in fantastic conditions right now, typical Southern Ocean stuff, and making very good time too. They're doing pretty well. And I can see, just looking at it now, I can see that it looks like they're tacking downwind under spinnakers because the wind's going this way. If you were poled out jibs and stuff, you'd just be roaring along, but they're running along the edge of this, making the most of it. So I'd say both Translated and Maiden are probably running asymmetric spinnakers. Penjui, it looks as if she's barreling downwind big time, probably poled out genoas or parts of sails and going for it. So we'll start back end of the fleet. Neptune doing 9.3. That's impressive. 176 mile day, and conditions there are nice. That color of graphic is suggesting it's sort of 25, 30 knots and probably 3 meter seas, just perfect Southern Ocean stuff. So enjoying the ride, absolutely. White Shadow trucking along, okay, 7.1 knots, 218 mile a day. Nothing to talk about there other than just continuing to enjoy the food and the international company on board, and everything seems well with White Shadow. Their SoundCloud was a real upbeat, positive one yesterday, that's for sure. Galliano was secure, 9.4 knots, still pushing the boundaries. They're always trucking along. They've been doing well this leg. They're loving the Southern Ocean more so than maybe the Atlantic legs, suggesting a 200-mile day. That's pretty impressive, and a little bit in front of Evrika. They've punched a bit out on that. Evrika's got a 179 nautical mile day, doing 9.3 knots at the moment, and holding ninth in line honours, ninth in IRC, and second in Sayula class. So sailing to her benchmark situation. Outlaw, 7.2 knots, 177 mile day, seventh in line honours, eighth in IRC. That's interesting because Galliana is seventh in IRC. So Galliana in IRC is got the jump on Outlaw, which is a very interesting situation. That's what they've been hoping to do for some time, and I'm surprised it's happening here. They're obviously, Galliana is sailing really hard. I'm not saying Outlaw isn't, but she's moved into a very nice situation. Just going to slide this up a bit, get rid of that, so I can see what Triana's up to. Triana 8.5 knots, 191 nautical mile day. It's a Swan 53, and it's got the Baltic 55 next door. They're matching each other pretty well. In fact, Galliana with Secure, Outlaw, and Triana are all pushing pretty well. Previously in the Atlantic legs, you remember that Triana was way ahead of the game on all of them, but this time Outlaw's level pegging. And if we looked at the finishing rankings when Outlaw received their penalty, Outlaw and Triana are very close. There's only 4 or 5 hours in it, I think, on IRC ratings. So, and now boat for boat, they're holding it pretty well. But they're so what do we got? We've got fourth in IRC for Triana, and eighth in IRC for Outlaw. So that's interesting as well. You start to play with the numbers, and it starts to tell an interesting story about what's going on. Anyway, it takes a bit of cross analysis for that, and you got to sort of write notes and say, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Look at the length of the waterline on that boat compared to this," and blah blah blah. So the Speedy Keep doing 9.4 knots and 210 mile day. You'll be happy with that. This is about a 57-foot boat, lightweight, previous winner of the Whitbread, and now out there having a go with the boys, but not quite. It always seems to be stuck in the middle. She's not quite catching the lead group, okay, and the tail end, the mid group here is not quite catching up to the Speedy Kip. So it's just like she's found her place in the fleet, and something's got to change to alter that. And at the moment, the weather is consistent all the way along. There's no, sometimes you can work the weather and get in the right quadrant of a pressure system, whereas someone else is in the wrong quadrant of a pressure system, and you can get a jump off that. But here, it's pretty much just a drag race in a way, in that the weather is overall for the fleet very consistent for all of them, and there's no real weather advantage anywhere. That's just all coming down to the crew. So there we go. Anyway, Penduic 11.3 knots, first in line honours, first in IRC, and first in flyer class. Now this afternoon, I was talking to Ada about it. We were working in the office, and it wasn't the case because there's a social media site, Facebook site, which is like all about the Vendée Globe. It's got a lot of people on it, and they're talking about the Ocean Globe race, and the rankings are changing all the time. But yeah, Penduic was not first on all three categories earlier this afternoon, but now she's back in it. So there's not a lot in the game, and it might be that Translated now is tacking downwind, trying to do things, but not heading the straight line course, whereas Marie is straight line course, in comparison to the run line, and also in comparison to where the finish is, and that's why there's a change, and that's all happened this afternoon. Maiden's obviously doing a different tactic than Spirit of Helsinki. She was ahead of Spirit of Helsinki before, but now also tacking down. Maybe it's because of the weather forecasting they're getting, whatever. But there's some changing fortunes there. So Translated 9.5 knots, 147 mile day. That could be real. And second in line honours, second in IRC, and second in flyer class. So that says a few things. Penduic 111, Translated 222, and Maiden 333. And let's see, not quite So Spirit of Helsinki, 4th in line honours, 5th in IRC, and 1st in Sailor class. So that's some interesting stuff as well. So what weather are they going to get in the next few days? We'll just pull this back so we can see what's coming. And again, you can see this consistent northwesterly flow that's being, it's not really, if we go way back, it's not the result of any real sort of, it's not really a result. There's a big high up here, and this is the high where there's a bit of a squeeze maybe with this high down here as well, creating this nor'wester, but it's pretty solid, but not extreme. I've been following it all on windy to see what the strengths are, the wind strengths. There's nothing there that's even getting close to 35 knot forecast. It's all about 28, maybe touching 30 forecast and some bits, down around here. So we've got no reason to give any weather alerts, and it's just good sailing. So I'll pick that up one more, and then I'll start to progress the weather forward so you can see what's happening. Let's just, I want to see how far apart they are and so on. So just pushing the weather forward now. This is the next day. It's all getting softer, basically. The colour's disappearing. Seas will be dying down a little bit, and for most of the fleet, just still nice sailing breezes. They'll reef in, reef out, all that sort of stuff to keep their speed potential on the boat's very similar. So I don't think you're going to see them slow down. Even in the green, you've got 15 to 20 knots, and that's more than enough for full sail to go flat out. So they hoist everything, genoas and full mainsail, all that sort of stuff. And as it picks up, they just reef down a bit. But this is the tail enders back here, the mid fleet, are going to get a bit more of a push than Penjuic. She's going to be a bit softer, but still looking pretty reasonable. So that's the first day. Then we start going through. Okay, back to where we were. It's getting a little bit confusing here. These guys will be further down the track, so that's okay. Neptune might be down too low. If she gets too low here, she's going to run out. So, and there's a bit of breeze coming up behind. So I've looked at this. I thought, okay, that might be the start of a weather alert on the 19th, but it's not. The three models that are showing you what's going on, it's still not getting up above very much more than 30, 31 knots. So we'll keep monitoring it. It could get more intense as it goes along, but it's still not a weather alert situation. And this is nearly 3 days out. We only forecast out for 2 days ahead, 48 hours ahead, but we are watching it. And generally speaking, it's still pretty benign, no big storms coming through. And it's all around about the rum line here. That's where there's plenty of breeze to keep them going. So they're making good time, and that's encouraging. It'll give them more fun in Auckland and more time in Auckland. So it's the 20th. And you can see there, all looks pretty good. So we'll have a quick look at the leaderboard just to see what's going on here. Line honours are straightforward. You could see how that was stacked up. Penjuic translated, Maiden, Spirit of Helsinki, Esprit de Keep, Auckland of Rika, and so on. And then we go on to IRC. Oops, daisy, wrong one. IRC. Okay, so this is where the fun is. And you can see, as I said, the rating changed from Penjuic. Now 111, translated 222. But when you look over here at what the corrected time factor is under their handicapping, there is only 2 hours difference. So Penjuic is 2 hours ahead of translated on corrected time. That's all. And there's then a big jump to Maiden. Maiden's 44, so they're about 3.5 days behind translated. And Triana then coming in fourth, which is pretty impressive, is it's about 4 days behind translated. So that's always fun to watch. I think it's pretty clear there what's happening, what the days and dates are. The distance sailed so far for Penjuic, because we're remembering we're not 2 weeks out yet. We'll be 2 weeks on Sunday, and that means it's going to look like about 3,000 miles at least by Sunday. So it's about 1,500 miles a week, which is pretty good, and that would suggest potentially an early arrival. But I'll look at that. I'll go back to line honours, which is straightforward distance, so not corrected time. And Penjuic saying 9th of December. And I usually add on a couple of days. I won't keep that up all the way because they are making great time. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. It still could be the 12th, which is interesting. And then translated 12th of December, 12, 13, 14, 15. So they're still, just checking to see if we're going to be there in time. But anyway, we will. Jane and I are going early, and then the others are following up after that. Although, without going into it, it's not really relevant. Airbnb just cancelled our accommodation in Auckland. So now it's double the price, and there's nothing left because everyone's already booked. Life, eh? Anyway, so I think that's enough of a cover there. So I'll just come back to this and have a look at the comments and see if there's any questions we can answer. You got to love Airbnb when it's working, but when they cancel, it's a nightmare. Okay. Morning from Mississippi. Painting and listening, Kathleen. Our Don Christo here about the glitches with the daily distances on YB Tracker. I noticed that all the yachts further north from the rum line showed the same exaggerated daily distances between 49 to 59 degrees. It must be a bug in the YB Tracker algorithm. Yes, it is. And as I've said before, we can't afford, we don't have the budget for a custom system. We're very happy with it generally on everything that's going. And you can use the tools on the tracker to work out relative distance between each boat and so on, and it gives you a lot of useful information. But yes, there's some bugs there because we're distorting the use of the system. It's only meant for single, much smaller, or they still use the stuff for transatlantics and stuff, but it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. One thing that's coming up very soon, and I'll give you a sneak heads up on this, very soon you will see our Bayonet platform come up. Now, when this comes up, it'll knock your socks off you. It's a whole new platform. It's been developed specifically for OGR. And it's fantastic. It's a full tracking system with a full history of everything that's happening, all on the one panel. So you can go to this platform and you can just sit there and play. You need to do it on a PC. We're having discussions about doing an app, but this one is fantastic. It's just one panel, one screen on your PC. You sit there and you can call up anything. Anything historic, everything that's happened is marked on the track. You can call up videos, photos. You've got same tracking system, same bits of information. And we're trying to get up in that. We had a discussion with Lutz and the developers. A lot of the technical statistics from the YB tracker data coming off the boat, the tracking data coming off the boat. Anyway, I would say certainly on this leg, we'll be introducing it for the first time. We had to wait until now for two reasons. One is we needed historical data to load onto the system for the developers. This is a very large company. Bayonet's a huge intelligence company based out of the United Arab Emirates and stuff. They were a sponsor of Abolish in the Golden Globe race, and we've created a relationship, and it's very exciting what's going on. And I'm looking forward to launching that. We've got people working on it. Well, they've been working on it for the last few months to get this happening. And when we put it up there, I think everyone will enjoy it. And it's got a real place, and it's quite unique. There's nothing like it from any other yacht race anywhere that I've seen on anywhere on social media. So stand by for that. It'll be quite special, especially if you're a geek. everybody. Stand by. I think I'm still live. I'm not sure what happened there. I think I'm still live because the clock's still going. So there would have been a blank there for a while. Yep, lost you, Don. Yeah, so we probably lost. Oh, it's 47 people still there. Okay, went dead. I'm not sure why. Jane came out and saved the day, got us up again. And it's something happened on the phone because it was still connected, but it wasn't any there. Anyway, the reality is that we're back, and I forget what I was closing off on. But anyway, will they be sure for Christmas? Yeah, we did that. Evening Dawn made another live view. Hang on, made another live view. Get me, Tara dear. Great catch up as usual. Thank you. Nice to see the team sharing the weather. Yeah, that's all good. John, jumped in a little late. Did you go over Godspeed at the beginning? I can re-watch for that update. Okay, no, I didn't go over Godspeed because they're issuing a press release very shortly about their situation, and we will be following up their press release. We've got one going out tomorrow as well, which will explain their situation. But there's some big decisions that they're looking at, and at the moment, I believe the boat's still on the slip. So I can't say too much until tomorrow. So it's going to come out tomorrow with Godspeed. So stand by for that. As Brian would say, they have some great, decent wind up there. Chuffs, yeah, absolutely. They're sailing. It's perfect. If Tara, I'd put you all up if I've been in Auckland, we would have a blast. Absolutely. So come down and say good day, Tara, when we're there. Everyone, the boat's going to be pretty cool. It's a great spot, and New Zealand is really excited about having us there, and we're getting solid support from the New Zealand Auckland events there. They're really helping us a lot with a lot of things. So, and the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron and our host club, they're laying on all sorts of stuff. So it's going to be a fun time there. And let's hope quite a few of them get there to enjoy it. I was saying that New Zealand shuts down between Christmas and I think it's January the 5th. Nothing happens. So it's a time for everyone else to rest up and have a bit of a holiday. A lot of families coming down. There's a huge amount of people coming into New Zealand over the Christmas break. Some people are flying out of New Zealand to go home as well, especially in Australia and some other bits. But anyway, good evening, Don, from an Irish-Portuguese wedding. And I can't hear a thing over the music, but good to see you. That's cool. Lost sound here in South Africa. I know, lost, yeah, it was a blackout. I thought it was me. No, it was me. So if you're still there, that's cool. We're back. Bet Don, no, I got the batteries in. This was completely wildcard. That was something happened to the internet, dropped it, and we had to get it all happen again, which we did. I'm good at disappearing. I'm back and live. And Jane to the rescue. Yep, absolutely. Welcome back. Thank you. For the moment, I thought we were getting load shedding. No, I'm in Les Sables d'Olonne in France, and it's blowy. It was blowing like 40 knots today, raining and cold, all that sort of stuff. So, but anyway, I had a productive day in the office. Yeah, that Bayonet platform is really good. It's not going to. We'll still be using the Yellowbick tracker to actually do these descriptives and updates, but you will have a place where you can go and sit there for hours and just have fun playing with the bits. So that's about it. G'day, John, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks a lot. See you later.